From the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is First Coast News at 5.
Good evening. A very busy afternoon. We are following several breaking news stories right now. First, a massive fire is burning out of control. This is in St. Johns County. It started in the 500 block of South Stratton Road. This is just north of St. Augustine. We're told that 4 structures have been evacuated. We also know that at least 1 home has been evacuated. Jessica Clark is headed to the scene, and she will bring us updates on air and online. And now to another big story.
Some of us thought that, but really I think most of our guys saw that the officer was hurt, and we jumped right in there and did what we could to help him. We maybe should have thought of that a little more, but at the same time, our priority was him and getting him taken care of. It's unfortunate that it happened, and our prayers go out to his family, and we hope that he improves and does okay, and we're thinking about it.
Tonight, a Jacksonville detective is in critical but stable condition at the hospital after being shot at least 3 times this morning during a traffic stop.
So as we've been talking about, what a turn of events today that police say started with a domestic dispute earlier this morning between this 19-year-old man and his live-in girlfriend. Just after that, an off-duty narcotics detective attempted to pull over that young man, Kevin Rojas, and that is when the gunfire began. Inside the car with the officer was the officer's 14-year-old son. Bullets shattered the officer's window. The young man, the boy, his son, was spared. Now, this is where it happened. It was about 7:20 this morning on the west side near Collins and Roosevelt. Now, I guess the big picture good news, the officer is expected to survive. As Heather said, he is in critical but stable condition, and the sheriff said he is speaking. The suspect, Kevin Rojas, was also shot, and he is expected to survive as well.
And we are learning new details every hour. In fact, just moments ago, JSO updated us. Hani Rodriguez joins us live from police headquarters with the new information that we've just learned. Hani?
That's right, Heather. A few important points to note is that suspect was having issues at home right before he left his house. As we mentioned, as Chief Tom Hackney mentioned, he was suicidal. His roommates were afraid for their lives. He actually stole a gun that was in that house and ran with it. That's when the police officer encountered him on the road. Something else to mention is that the suspect got out of the car and immediately started shooting the officers, trying to put on his vest. And as soon as he walked out of that car, the suspect started shooting at him. He was afraid for his son's life, and that's why he began to shoot. Also, another thing to point out is that, Chief Tom Hackney and the entire JSO officers very thankful for the community for the outpour of support they received since this incident happened earlier this morning.
That we come together when one of us gets hurt, and JSO family with the detectives and those who are involved in this. In this job, again, we all sign up for it with a certain understanding of what you may encounter, and when it occurs and when you encounter it, you deploy the skills and the training. I feel like the training that we receive is some of the best in the country.
That bulletproof vest obviously helped this officer stay alive today, but also there's a hero in every story, and very important to note that Samaritans, 2 good Samaritans, came out to that officer to help him. Anthony Austin has the latest.
Honey, you're exactly right. There is a good Samaritan in every story. Honey, like you were saying, there's always a hero. And I want to show you what we're looking at right now. This is the neighborhood where Kevin Rojas was shot by officers. Right now, if we take a look to my left, you can see that officers are still here. We still have crime scene tape up. These officers are checking IDs for people getting into this neighborhood, just kind of showing you that this is still an active investigation. Now, I'm told by Kevin Rojas' twin brother that down here is where they shared a home. They shared a home together with the twin brother and also Rojas' girlfriend. And we believe that this is where, in this neighborhood somewhere, is where he crashed that truck that was stolen. And this is where that officers later caught up with him. And this is where they shot him. Now let's take a look at some video. This is where the off-duty detective was shot on Collins Road, just a couple of miles from where I am right now. Investigators tell us the detective was taking his 14-year-old son to school in an unmarked cruiser when he turned on the police lights and tried to make a traffic stop near the railroad tracks there. We're told by investigators the driver, identified as Kevin Rojas, began shooting at the detective, who was wearing a ballistic vest with police on it, immediately after he pulled him over. I spoke with a man who has a family company nearby. He and his co-workers rushed to help the officer.
So we did hear him call for help, and he was standing when we got to him, and we got him to lay down, and we kind of assessed and did everything we could. We're not medical experts, but we talked them through it until the help arrived.
And as I mentioned earlier, I did speak to the twin brother of Kevin Rojas. He told me he did not know his brother even had a gun. In fact, he was asking me questions here at the scene exactly what was going on because he was trying to learn new information himself. Now, coming up at 5:30, I'm going to have more from that Good Samaritan. And as we've been hearing, the off-duty detective's son was in the car at the time. And I'm going to tell you what that Good Samaritan had to say about the son. But first, let's go over to my colleague Clark Foraker with more. Clark.
Anthony, those family members were asking us questions too today here at UF Health. In addition to them being here to check on their brother and son, a number of JSO officers here to check on one of their own. You know, it's not that uncommon to see JSO here at UF Health. They come right down this road actually, and they'll come here to check on suspects or victims, people they may be interrogating for a story, or maybe just wanting to check up and see how someone is after a different crime. But today, more JSO officers than usual because one of their own was inside. Hours after Life Flight landed at UF Health with a JSO detective on board, Sheriff Mike Williams arrived to check in. All day, officers have been flowing in and out of the ER to check on the detective shot while off duty this morning. State Attorney Angela Corey also stopped by the hospital, everyone hoping for the good news eventually received that the officer was going to live. Family of the suspect accused of shooting the detective was also at UF Health. According to the mother, 19-year-old Kevin Rojas is a good kid, and this kind of thing was out of character. Rojas also survived gunshot wounds. His mother says he sustained a lung injury. She said she could not talk on camera, still trying to understand how her son could be involved in a shooting. Rojas is still here at UF Health tonight. He's been field booked by police, which means they've officially arrested him according to public record, but because he's still here at UF Health, no mugshots have been taken. He's not been taken to the Duval County Jail. He does have to appear in court within 24 hours, that of course pending his medical stability. So I'm told by the state attorney's office it will simply get pushed back until Rojas is meted back to health here, can be transported to the jail, then he'll appear for a first court appearance. Live at UF Health tonight, I'm Clark Foraker, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.
Clark, thank you. And Sheriff Mike Williams just minutes ago thanking the community for an outpouring of support. So many of you are showing your support for this officer who was shot today on our Facebook page. Keitha Nelson continues our team coverage now. Keitha?
Heather, we're seeing a lot of online support for the undercover narcotics officer shot today during a traffic stop. He was off duty at the time, taking his son to school. Some of you are also questioning the officer's actions. Police say his vehicle was unmarked, but it does have blue lights inside, so he turned on those lights and stopped the suspect's vehicle. Jose Valencia had this to say: "A good cop is never off duty. I feel bad for his kid, seeing his dad getting shot in front of his face. Sometimes we take our heroes for granted. He saw something wrong, he reacted, good job." Let's take another comment right now. On the other side of the argument, this is Josh Bennett. He says, "It should be illegal for an unmarked car to perform a traffic stop. It's not safe. He was off duty, out of uniform in an unmarked car." And another comment right now in that same vein. This comes in from June. "I'm glad he's doing okay, but I would never have initiated a traffic stop with my kid in the car. Too many unstable people in this world. I feel sorry for his son. The poor kid must be traumatized." And one more right now from James. This is something we're hearing from a lot of people tonight. "My thoughts go out to all JSO officers and families this tragic morning. Reminder of risks these brave men and women take." You can join that conversation by liking our Facebook page.
Keitha, thank you. And our officers really do put their lives on the line every single day. We want to thank them for their service. And we're going to continue to have coverage of this officer shooting throughout the night. And coming up tonight at 5:30, crime analyst Mark Bachman will join us to break down this incident for us. Also, you can head to firstcoastnews.com for more on this shooting.